Welcome to Speak for Yourself. It's Marcellus Wiley. I'll stop counting how many times I won swag wars over here. Boo. Emmanuel Acho over there with the dusty.
How you going to be the judge, jury, and executioner, sir? Can you just be the host and get to the top of the show?
I will. It works that way in life sometimes. All right, let's get it started with the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Twins and the Wild all postponed their games Monday in the wake of a police shooting that resulted in the death of a 20-year-old black man, Dante Wright. The Timberwolves will play the Nets this afternoon with no fans, but the shooting resulted in several protests, and the Spurs and Magic locked arms during the national anthem. Doc Rivers and Greg Popovich talked about the situation yesterday. Take a listen.
It just makes you sick to your stomach. It's how many times does it have to happen? And, as sick to our stomachs as we might feel, that individual's dead. He's dead, and his family's grieving, and his friends are grieving. And we just keep moving on as if nothing's happening.
Frustrating, as it should be for, I think we got to stop saying it's frustrating for all Black Americans. I think we should be frustrated by all Americans. I don't know if it was a mistake or not. I saw the video, the body cam video like everyone else. But I just know the frustration is a real thing for everybody.
So, Acho, what's your reaction to the games getting postponed?
I agree with it, Sal. I think it's completely necessary. I think that in life, we've kind of making the mistake to overly prioritize sports. Even at times, grossly prioritize sports. What do I mean? Before we started taking health more seriously within the confinements of the NFL, you might say, players would go out there with a concussion and really go out there and really try to play, not realizing there's going to be another game, but you only got one brain. You, I'm sure, have done this. I'm sure have done this. Played through an injury, a lower body injury. I played through a torn MCL before. Played through some strained tendonitis and like my Achilles as well. You only have two legs. But you're going to have more games. But we've gotten to a point in our society where we overly prioritize playing through pain. Physical pain, emotional pain, spiritual pain. We've overly prioritized this to the point where we've begun to glorify those who do and condemn those who don't. Remember Brett Favre, he has a career day. I believe it was the night after or the night of or the next game right after the death of his father, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it was.
We all praised him for that, and we lauded that. And he deserves the credit for going out there and acting in such a manner if that's the way that would have honored his deceased. But remember, if I'm not mistaken, was it not Brian Urlacher who said, well, why can't y'all just be like Brett Favre in the wake of NBA players who were trying to postpone playing because of all the tragedies going on in America? We've gotten to a point where we overly prioritize sports, and we are sometimes negligent of our own emotions or the emotions of the society around us. So I have no issue with Minnesota sports teams postponing their games in the wake of yet another police shooting because at least for a moment, can we properly reorchestrate the importance of things? And let's end this. When tragedy occurs before a sporting event, you'll oftentimes see, have, or join in on a moment of silence. The moment of silence is simply reminding everyone that before we ever play this game, there is something that trumps the importance of this game. And before this game takes place, we're all for a second, for a moment, gonna pause and acknowledge whatever was important prior to playing the game. Moment of silence doesn't happen at the end of the game.
Love it.
A moment of silence happens before the game. Last night, I believe the Minnesota sports teams took a figurative moment of silence, if you will. We didn't say postpone basketball forever. Minnesota Twins didn't play. We didn't say postpone that forever. But we said just for a moment, let's recalibrate our minds and remember what's truly important in life. I respect them not playing.
Yeah, I respect it as well because the moment of silence that you're talking about, the remembrance, is actually something you should do in this moment. So I respect it, but I'm also not in charge as well. But if I were in charge, I would have played the games. I wouldn't have postponed the game. So it's not even a disagreement what was done. It's out of respect. I will allow you to do what you want to do in this moment. I would have chose differently. Let's just start off by saying this is another senseless tragedy. Let's start off by saying also that I think as a collective society, we're tired. At least I certainly will personalize this and say I'm tired. Tired because I'm looking at a situation where it's senseless once again and the life is lost. I'm tired of accidental shootings. I'm tired of any police shooting. I'm also tired of non-compliant, complying suspects. I'm tired of those guys and gals being in this situation in the first place. I'm tired of protests, I'm tired of looting, and I'm tired of riots. Let me just say that. But I also learned in church that when you're tired, lonely, angry, or hungry, don't make a decision. So I wouldn't have made this decision, but I think that a lot of people did make this decision. I give you your space and respect. You know what's saddest about this situation? I want to break this one down because I want to break everything down. I don't want to personalize it to Dante Wright. I just want to talk about society in general. The curfew was a preventative measure because, why? Because of the looting, the rioting, the protesting. They don't know how far it would go. So obviously, as a preventative measure, you want to make sure no games could be played or would be played. Respect that. But a deeper, not popular preventative measure needs to be articulated. And I would be the one to raise my hand to do it, which is, it's not a law, but it should be something that is understood by all of us in our mindsets. The greatest preventative measure for any of these situations, no matter who you are, what citizen, what color you are, is to not resist and comply in these situations. I am not into a situation where I'm going to victim blame. I'm not going to come off as heartless, but I'm going to come off as mindful. I got to have the honest conversation that we don't have all the time in TV media, that we certainly don't see on social media, but that group text honesty. And that group text honesty takes you to a different place. Because when you're on your group text, you spitting fire to your people, oh, real. And then you get out in your public world and your persona takes over and you start to say other things that are PC. Well, remove that layer. I'm going to talk to y'all for real. It takes me to a really sad place because I just want to give you my life story. My grandmother in Watts, California, 1965 Watts riots happened. Boom. Grandma says, too violent for her and her 6 kids. Wants to go to greener pastures. Guess where she moves? To Compton. Compton's safer than Watts. Can you believe that? Yes, it was true in 1965. And then I and my family, my mother and father say, Compton is getting a little rough around here in these 70s, 80s. Let's move. We moved to South Central, right next to Windsor Hills. Damn it, we so close because Windsor Hills is nice. But we're not there. We're on the border, so we're South Central right there. You know what South Central turned into? L.A. riots. Go through the L.A. riots. Tanks on my street. Walking across the street, watching my store in front of us get burned up, looted, rioting all around. Fast forward to this situation. 56 years have elapsed. And as we always talk about the definition of insanity, what is it? Doing something the same way and expecting a different result. The saddest part about all this, as I sum it up, is that every layer of this situation, altercation, and senseless tragedy reminds me of every layer that occurred 56 years ago, from the police's involvement, from the suspect and now victim involvement, every layer. So all I want to do, Acho, is evolve, not only in conversation, but in action. That's what I'm looking for, more so than protests.
That's deep. That's deep. That's deep. Let me contextualize it.
Let me
contextualize it and bring it back to it stopping sports. We do a sports show, and when sports intersect with culture, then we intersect with you all. Here's what I've realized, Sel, and I don't know what it took me so long to realize this. It sounds profound. It's really not. It's common sense. You can have life without a game, but you can't have a game without life.
All right.
And I'm realizing that at the end of the day, sports are a luxury, but life is a necessity. And so when you're talking about life stopping sports, I think that it should. I think that it's wise too, because you can't have the icing without the cake. And sports is the icing, big dog. Like, sports is always a game, and games are a luxury. Games are not a necessity. Think about the greatest sports spectacle in the world. Not in our country, not in South America, not in Africa, not in Asia. The greatest sports spectacle in the world is the Olympic Games. See, that word, operative word there is games. Because at the end of the day, the greatest sports spectacle in the world, occurring once every 4 years, is still a game, identifying itself as such. When something like life became more important during the past year with this coronavirus, even the greatest spectacle in the world as it pertains to sports, the Olympic Games, was put on pause. Because sports, games, are a luxury. And necessities always trump luxury. Sal, you personalize a story, let me personalize a story.
I'm ready for that.
My household growing up, I was the youngest of four. My parents, both of them are doctors. They got their doctorates later in life, came to America from Nigeria with nothing, work on to go get their doctorates. My oldest sister, nurse practitioner. My second sister has her PhD in psychology. My brother, 2 degrees, myself, 2 degrees. I say all that to say, knowledge and intellectual prowess was important in our household. If you got a B or a C on your report card coming into the Acho household, you want to know what was suspended first? Sports.
Yeah.
Because sports are a game. A game is not a necessity. So when I look at these Minnesota teams and even the greater congregation and aggregation of sports being put on pause at times during the course of tragedy, it's just a constant, for me, healthy and honest reminder that luxuries always follow necessities. Necessities come first, and life is a necessity, because you can have life without a game, but you can't have a game without a life. And I like that we are reframing the realities of the situation and importance.
But we're not. And look, as much as you say games are a luxury and it's not a necessity, do you know people that don't even think that their life is a necessity, that they don't value their life? And I'm not talking about this situation. I'm just talking about in general. I do. I know people that walk around like life is a game. Do you? Okay, we could get poetic up here. We could go deeper and punch through this thing. Is your life a necessity? Like, do you want to live? Do you need to live? Or that conversation is what I want to have right now. You know why? Because it is a value conversation. This is what my father told me, and this is what I'm going to tell my son when he's at the appropriate age. And this is not a color-based conversation. I hate when people say, oh, the black people got to have a conversation about the police. Everyone needs to have a conversation about the police. And it's a simple, short conversation. Comply. You have your time to talk. You have your time to resist. You have your time to go out there and speak your side. But the time is not when you're in a lethal, potentially, encounter with that same officer. I had guns drawn on me 2 different times, one time to the temple. Both situations ended with an apology from that police officer. One time, it was because of mistaken identity from a bank around the corner that actually my neighbor worked at, and later that day tells me someone robbed our bank. Told me, looks like you. And I said, you know what's crazy? I was on the ground with guns drawn on me from that same bank robbery. Another time, I'm playing around with a replica gun, BB gun, CO2, shooting around in the playground at school. Catches a teacher. Teachers calling the police. I'm not knowing, I'm still playing. All of a sudden, surrounded, guns drawn on me. You know what I did? I showed everyone in that environment I value my life more than anybody else. I showed in that moment that no one's going to value my life more so than myself. Now, let's talk about what you said in terms of framing this in police shootings and the reaction to a postponement. This world keeps spinning no matter what's going on. I had to learn that the hard way the day after my mother passed away. And I thought the whole world was going to respond to it. I thought that the clouds were going to come out. I thought it was going to be thunderstorms. I thought it was going to look like Dorothy in Kansas. And you know what it was? Another sunny LA day. And I realized if this world keeps spinning, I got to somehow, some way learn to evolve with it. You know what? This is a situation where maybe you need to work through your problems. Everyone always says, take a pause. If you take a pause, you need to do something with that pause that's different, that is not reflective of 56 years ago. We're kind of going through the same exact beats. So when you're working through your problems, as Thomas Sowell says, and I respect this fully, doesn't matter how smart you are, Acho, if you don't stop and think. So once we are now in this moment of stopping and thinking, what is going to be the actionable items that come from this that is going to change our course and our direction? If nothing is, because 56 years ago to today, and look, senseless tragedy always happens, but we always talk about these issues and we want to put the blame somewhere. Let's talk about it in totality. Police, your dominant hand is to grab the gun. Your non-dominant hand is to grab the taser. No matter what the altercation is, don't confuse those because you were trained properly. Us, as citizens of any color, bruh, can you please show your value of your life first to the point where just take whatever L that moment is giving you. Lose that battle, but win the war. And more importantly, just stay alive.
I co-sign several of what you said. I think the dilemma cell and the dichotomy comes with this.
What?
It comes when I am not trained, you are not trained as to how to respond when you have a gun in your face. Right? Like
I'm not.
You not? I know I'm not. But at the same breath, police officers are actually trained as to how to respond with suspects. So we are holding people who have no training, Emmanuel Acho, Marcellus Wiley, as to how to respond with guns in your face and tasers drawn. We are holding them to the same standard as the individuals, the police officers who are actually trained to deal with this situation. I agree with you that it's a matter of just survive. Stay alive. Black, white, brown, and everything in between. Human, just survive. But then I'm also thinking non-compliance should not result in death.
Yes, agreed.
And I think we can all agree on that because I was thinking sometimes you got to personalize it. It's a sports show. If y'all rocking with us right now, y'all are sports fans. I was thinking back. Quarterback who I'm a fan of, passionate of. I defend on the show every day. I'll probably defend him later today. Baker Mayfield. Remember back when he was at the University of Oklahoma? Gets arrested, DUI altercation. I had to rewatch the video today. If y'all haven't, go look at it. He takes off sprinting.
Gone.
Takes off. He's trying to get arrested. He takes off sprinting. He didn't comply. He was resisting arrest. Baker Mayfield still starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns right now. Another person in question, Chad Wheeler. Domestic violence. He beats up his girlfriend. I just listened to the video again in the dressing room before this show. Stop or I'll tase you. 2-minute mark of the video. Y'all watch it. By the 2-minute, 15-second mark, he's getting tased. No mistake there. He didn't comply. Chad Wheeler, by the way, 6'5", 320-pound man. All I'm saying, and I think that the common theme is, yes, survive, stay alive. But in the same breath, non-compliance shouldn't result in death. And I think that's what we're seeing happen, which is why sports are like, hey, Sal, if we can control actually putting a pause on things, why not control it? You brought up the death of your mother. You brought that up before, and every time you bring it up, it hits me differently because I just start thinking about and reflecting about my own loved ones, et cetera.
Me too.
And it hits me differently, and I'm like, but what if the world could have stopped? Because you said you thought the world was going to stop.
I did.
And you thought for a second, man, maybe the world was going to stop. What if the world could have? Your world, at least. Not the world, but what if your world could have stopped? And I think the sports world and those who are governing it, they're like, wait a second. We can cause their world to stop. We can't cause the world to stop, but we can cause their world. The Minnesota players, the opponents of the Minnesota players, everyone in the area in which this is going on, we can cause their world to stop because the death of Dante Wright occurred, I believe, 11 miles away from the death of George Floyd.
Yeah.
A lot is going on in their world. The world in Minnesota, and we can cause their world to stop. And if you have the ability to do so, why not? Because from what you've expressed to me, that would have been a desire. I would imagine when I lose someone near and dear to my heart, that would be a desire. And if somebody can cause my world to stop, give me a second to breathe, reflect, mourn, weep, and then move on, I would appreciate that.
Yeah, that was a deep desire of mine, and I'm glad it wasn't gratified. I'm glad it wasn't answered. Like many of my desires growing up, and still to this day, I'm glad sometimes someone greater being.
Why?
Why? Because it taught, one, I've gotten much stronger from it. Two, it gave me tremendous perspective. And three, it allowed me to understand that you have to know how precious this is per every breath. And those breaths that I am now pausing to take are still counting against my lifespan. So I learned that no matter what you're going through, you better get through it, because if you don't, it's not going to help you. It's going to actually hurt you. Everyone grieves differently. I'm not saying my way is the right way. I'm saying I'm glad it worked and it happened the way it did. Now, I would have took a time. My sister did it different. My sister took a time out for a minute, for a while. And I didn't agree with the way she took it, but I never disturbed her in her way. Like I started off this conversation. I'm not going to tell them not to postpone, but I would have approached it differently. You brought up some great points, and I agree with a lot of them, Big Dog. Damn, I love doing this show with you. I would do it for free, except the bosses are listening, so I'm not. One, the media. And we're in the media. It's so weird going home, and I got 4 kids. I got a wife. I got a normal life. And then it's like, I hear media. I'm like, yeah, them. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm the media. Do your damn job. The media has people triggered, brother. The media is telling people that the police doesn't consist of people that look like them, doesn't consist of people in their community, and those are the adversaries, which makes people get triggered to being confrontational. You're already going up to the plate, and you think the bases are already loaded. No, they're not. It's a clean count. I've been in these situations before. I speak from my experience, which is my expertise. But since the media has everyone triggered, it exacerbates the problem. It makes the problem worse, not better, because you thinking the cop's against you when the cop is like, I'm going to judge you by your behavior in this moment. But many people, some think it's because of your skin color. Some think of what you've done before, your guilty conscience, whatever it may be. You already are triggered. You that close to the edge when all you got to do is just survive this moment. And if I wasn't from the bottom, I would be speaking out of turn. If I didn't have guns drawn on me several times, I would be speaking out of turn, but I'm not. So in this situation, when you know that the police force is consisted of you, but just different people, how about that is shown in a relationship and out of respect, both ways, police to citizen, citizen to police. In these moments, we are breaking that relationship. And then you have these fractures that end in senseless tragedies. Let me say another thing before I get up out of here. Because it's funny, us in the media, we talk about incident. Remember the names, and we have all that, and I do. But also, you know what's funny? Selective perception takes over with the media. You ever heard of the story of the Alabama black police officer that killed the white man? No, not most people. Alabama, black officer, white man, got off. We got to do our job, and we got to talk about it in totality if we're going to really address these issues. Or, you know what we're going to do, Acho? Pause. And pause, and be back in the same insane moment again. I don't want another 56 years to go by. I don't want my son to be on his version of Speak for Yourself, talking about the same situation, almost beat by beat, and nothing has changed. So hopefully, by our behavior, by our responses, by the police's interactions with the people of their community, things can truly change. Coming up, Julian Edelman called it a career yesterday. We'll tell you if it's crazy to say he's a Hall of Famer, but first, how long will Aaron Rodgers be with the Packers? We'll tell you if he should want out of Green Bay. That's next on Speak for Yourself. Transition time now, transition time.
Aaron Rodgers' contract status is a big question mark in Green Bay. An agent insinuated that the Packers could not do anything in free agency till they got Rodgers' contract squared away, and added the situation is, quote, screwing the Packers in a lot of ways right now. Pro Football Talk says next season could be the last year Rodgers tolerates a year-to-year relationship. So, Marcellus Wiley, should Aaron Rodgers want out of Green Bay?
No, shouldn't want out of Green Bay. Stay there and keep playing this game with that franchise. This game of chicken, I'm loving this right now. It's so rare to see a player have this amount of leverage, to have the hammer, and the hammer's that big where he's just saying, say something. Like Thor, right? Say something. I dare you because I will smash all of y'all. In consecutive years, the Green Bay Packers have tried to undermine Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers already gave you one response, MVP performance. He's like, oh, y'all want to play this game again? I give you those consecutive years. The first year was drafting my bench riding backup in Jordan Love. When we were this close to making it to the Super Bowl. We were one game away from making it to the Super Bowl, but instead you want to draft someone who has to sit behind me. Oh, and then you want to back that bad decision up by this year, my all-pro center, and you know a quarterback in his center, best relationship going, Corey Linsley is now a Charger. Corey Linsley's gone. Now, you got to get the cap space to sign him because he's an all-pro. He's going to command top dollar. I get all that. But now you're asking Aaron Rodgers, the same guy you undermined one year, hey, can you restructure your contract? Let's just frame your money different. And Aaron's like, I'm too smart for that. Frame my money different? So what? I don't trust how you're going to spend it in the first place. Secondly, if you spend it, all it's going to do is accelerate me being out the door. So what the hell is that going to do me in terms of any good going forward? Boy, Aaron Rodgers is laughing at these guys like, keep driving. We're playing this game of chicken. And Aaron Rodgers is going to end up winning, whether it's staying in Green Bay with that top offense, most points scored, with that top 5 receiver, top 5 running back, and a good defense, or he's going to land on his feet elsewhere. But anyway it goes, if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm not trying to walk out these doors anytime soon.
Sal, I think Rodgers should want to get up out of there.
For what?
Because of this.
Because they want him gone?
If somebody has already been where you are trying to go, you might want to take heed to their advice.
I know where you're going.
You might want to take heed to their actions. If somebody's been where you want to go, you might want to listen to them. Sal, I told you I ran into Magic 2 days ago.
Sunday.
On Sunday. I told you that.
Yes.
And I genuinely, true story, I run into Magic Johnson, and I say this. I don't like bothering people, and regardless, I ain't really all that special. I don't care how special I think I am. That's Magic
You
Johnson.
alive, but go ahead.
But compared to Magic Johnson, I understand where
Nobody else is either.
right?
Yeah.
So I say, hey, Magic, I set my 2 minutes in, I say, give me one piece of advice. Because I don't know how long.
Hold on, no, slow this story down. You weren't sitting with Magic. You were close to him. How'd you do it?
I walk up.
You faked up the bathroom walk?
I see him, I'm like, oh, walk over there. He stands up. I know you.
No, don't do me that. Oh, you knew it was Magic.
He
ain't
didn't know it was
sitting
me.
there. Oh,
I
okay.
knew it was him.
Okay,
He
keep
know
going.
me.
This is a good story. Go.
So I walk over there. I see him. He stands up. He's with 2 other black gentlemen, and we all dap each other up.
Oh, the color matters. Keep going.
And I say this. I say one piece of advice.
You didn't even say hello. Keep going.
After the pleasantries.
Okay, keep going.
And I say, and he gives me his advice, and that's when he tells me the whole, sometimes the people who got you here aren't going to be the same people that get you there. And then I go on, as we're talking and having this conversation, I said, you've already been where I'm trying to go, so I want you to show me how it's done. How does that pertain to Aaron Rodgers, bringing everything back full circle? Because Tom Brady's been where Aaron Rodgers wants to go, multiple Super Bowls. Peyton Manning has been where Aaron Rodgers wants to go, multiple Super Bowls. So, hey, guys, show me how it's done. Peyton Manning leaves Indianapolis, leaves the Colts, goes to Denver. And not only does he go to Denver, but he goes to Denver and at 37 years of age has his most prolific season ever. The greatest offense we've seen from the 2010s till now. 55 touchdown passes 37-year-old Peyton Manning has. 5,500 passing yards. Goes to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years, wins one of them with the Denver Broncos after winning one with the Colts. Aaron Rodgers is looking like I looked at Magic Johnson and said, you have already been where I am trying to go. Let me take heed. Tom Brady, he won in New England, but then he left and went to the Bucs, and he won again. These players are great. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning are great. Aaron Rodgers is also great.
Yes.
And he can be greater if he takes heed to the wisdom and the actions of those who have already been where he is trying to go. They got out. He should want out and get out as well.
Great take. Poorest take. There's some holes in that take right there. Don't act like Tom Brady wasn't begging and pleading at Bob Kraft's house with Giselle there. Can we make it work? And Bob Kraft's like, I got your back. We're going to make it work. And they're like, Bill? Hoodie on. Bill like, I ain't got nothing to say. I tried to tell y'all already 2014 what needs to happen. Jimmy GQ over here. But look, this is not to take a shot at Tom Brady, but Tom Brady wanted to stay still. Don't act like Aaron Rodgers should now listen to Tom Brady. Tom Brady was listening to Giselle and the situation of the Patriots saying we want to stay. And then finally he realized it's not going to work. And then he got on that field that last year, 12-4. Looked at this team. We ain't got it. Like, dog cursing. Every game we saw Tom Brady on the sideline, dog cursing. Run the routes. And they were like, we are running. He's like, well, run faster. And he's like, we can't run faster. I'm out. Okay. Peyton Manning. 1, 2, 3, 4 neck surgeries. I contributed to one of them. I got a $10,000 fine hitting that boy one time. Check my Instagram. Here's the thing. Sorry, Peyton. Peyton Manning didn't want to leave Indianapolis.
Of course not.
They said, now Aaron Rodgers in this situation, not yet. They haven't said, but their fingers are going to their lips. They like a cigarette chain smoker. Right now, about to say peace to Aaron Rodgers. These are completely different situations. You don't always learn from somebody who sat in that seat before. Tell me how much you have learned from Jason Whitlock Colin Coward. Like, they started.
Yeah, you can learn what not to do as well.
That's my dog. You ain't never lied. Like I'm going to do it my way. And I understand the way you did it, and I'm going to borrow some and not give you credit for it. But I'm not trying to do it your way. So why would you tell Aaron Rodgers the Great to do it their way?
Because, Sal, you notice.
No, I don't.
When you're in a relationship, you can either listen to words or you can listen to actions. But either way, you better listen to the truth.
Ooh.
The truth is going to be found in those words, or it's going to be found in them actions. One is lying, one is true. If they differ, find the truth. Aaron Rodgers, the words the Packers are giving them are, we love you, we want to commit to you, we want to stay with you. But their actions say differently. 62 wide receivers have been drafted in the first 3 rounds in the last 5 years. The Packers have drafted none of them. The only team in the NFL who has not drafted a wide receiver in the first 3 rounds in the last 5 years. So I read this book, and you know me, I'm super single. However, I'm preparing myself for marriage. And how am I doing so?
No, you not. Well, I saw your Instagram story this week. It's gone, but
I digress.
Me too.
And so, all of it, how am I doing so? By reading books. And one book I read by this author called Bob Goffitz, the book is called Love Does. Because love is an action.
Wow.
So if the Packers really love Aaron Rodgers, then love does. It does something. You don't trip and fall in love. You choose by action to love someone. So what are the Packers' actions? I just told y'all, haven't drafted a wide receiver in the first 3 rounds of the last 5 years. What are the Packers' actions? You draft a skill player since Aaron Rodgers won. That one was Aaron Rodgers' replacement. What are the Packers' actions? Defensively, their ranking come playoff time abysmal, and it is what's contributing to Aaron Rodgers not actually going to the NFC, to going to the Super Bowl as opposed to just NFC championship games. What are the Packers' actions? 4th and 8 with the game on the line, and you don't trust your future Hall of Fame quarterback Aaron Rodgers to try to win the thing. Instead, you just kick a field goal. So, I don't care if the Packers say, Rodgers, we love you, we love you, we love you, because love does. And if the Packers really loved Aaron Rodgers, we would see it by their actions. We don't see it. He got to go.
Yeah, you know what's so funny about that? Great line. I don't even know if they're fully saying they love him. Like, you're like, you love me? You're like, I'm in like with you. You're like, no, are you in love with me? I'm in like. Like, yes, no, maybe. Remember those letters we used to get in school? I don't know if y'all got letters. Y'all text that when you were growing up? I don't know what the hell y'all did. Here's the thing. I don't even know if they're fully saying they love him, fully committed to him, and he knows it. So Aaron is the one like, yeah, you know, after work, me and the fellas gonna hang out. Oh, you're not coming home? Yeah, I'll be home when I get here. And that's what Aaron Rodgers is doing in this organization. And damn it, I'm here for it. And damn it, I love it. Because the organization will cut you in the middle of the night. Organization will cut you on the bus ride home if they can. And Aaron Rodgers finally said, no, it's on my terms when I say go. So in a situation like this, it's kind of funny. You talk about you can't trip and fall in love.
Trip and fall in love. It's an action, big dog.
My third fiance, I don't know, dog, at the club when I met her. Hey, I was like, clear the decks, y'all. It's her. I ain't lying, y'all. Coming up, Julian Edelman is a 3-time Super Bowl champ, and Maria, of course. But is he a Hall of Famer? We'll answer that next. Don't speak for yourself. Sometimes it's just out of your control. Sunday, the NASCAR Cup Series is back on Fox. Catch the sport's top drivers as they battle on the short track at Richmond in the Toyota Owners 400. Catch all the thrilling action Sunday at 3 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Vroom, vroom, vroom. Time for our big story brought to you by Marco's Pizza Lovers. Get it. Julian Edelman, here we go. Announced his retirement yesterday after 12 seasons with the Patriots. Respect it, dog. Edelman leaves as a 3-time Super Bowl champ, Super Bowl MVP, and he has the second most postseason catches behind Jerry Rice. Whoa. Fellow wide receiver Steve Smith Sr. said, hell yeah, Edelman is a Hall of Famer, adding, quote, the sizable impact he had on the Patriots dynasty over the last decade plus should earn him a spot in football immortality. So, Acho, is it crazy to say Julian Edelman is a Hall of Famer?
It's kind of crazy.
It's kind of crazy. Look how you looking at the ground. You upset at this take.
Kind of crazy. Here's what I will do.
What?
Because so many people say, how you going to disrespect Julian Edelman? Can we reframe this?
Ooh.
I'm not going to disrespect Hall of Famers by saying Julian Edelman is a Hall of Famer. Rather than looking at this like you disrespecting Edelman, I'm not going to disrespect those who are in the Hall by saying Julian Edelman should be in the Hall. Because being in the Hall of Fame, what we've learned is not just what you do in a regular season. It can't just be that. It's also about what you do in the postseason for just about everybody except a few individual quarterbacks, some people like that. So if that's the case, we should be able to flip that on its head.
Okay.
It's not just what you do in the postseason. It's also what you do in the regular season.
Okay.
And when I look at what Edelman has done in the regular season, I'm looking like, hey, big dog, there is no plausible way that you should be even in the conversation for being a Hall of Famer out of respect for Hall of Famers. Let's put some context on this if we shall. We don't ever say that Wes Welker should be a Hall of Famer. We don't ever say that.
And he was a beast.
He's a beast. Really good player. But you can be a great player and not be a Hall of Famer. You can. That's perfectly fine. There's no slight.
Thank you. You're welcome.
So shall we compare Wes Welker to Julian Edelman? Shall we? Because Wes Welker has 2 first-team All-Pros. Wes Welker went to 5 Pro Bowls. Wes Welker led the league in receiving yards 3 times. Wes Welker had 300 more catches than Edelman, and he had 3,000 more yards, plus 14 more touchdowns than Edelman. And we have never fixed our lips to say Wes Welker should be a Hall of Famer. Why have we not? Because Wes didn't win any Super Bowls. Well, he didn't win the Super Bowls like Edelman won Super Bowls. But it's just because Wes joined the Patriots during the drought and Edelman joined the Patriots during the harvest. That's the difference. I'm not going to knock Wes, and I'm not going to overly praise Edelman. I look at it like this. There's no possible way, Marcellus Wiley, that the difference between Wes Welker and Julian Edelman being Hall of Famers is 1 catch. Because Wes Welker dropped a pivotal catch that would have won them a Super Bowl against the Giants, if you all remember. And Edelman made a pivotal catch against the Falcons that won them a Super Bowl. Y'all looking at the pictures, go back and rewatch the tapes if you want to. There is no plausible way that 1 catch, which is the difference in 2 Super Bowls collectively, 1 Wes Welker would have had, and 1 Julian Edelman wouldn't have had. There's no way that the difference in them being Hall of Famers is in a catch. So no, Julian Edelman should not be a Hall of Famer out of reverence for future Hall of Famers.
Ooh, man, that was a good take. I don't have anything else to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. Is it crazy to say he's a Hall of Famer? No. It's also not the sanest of thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Look, God, this is a tough one because it's almost like a would versus should conversation. Like, will he be a Hall of Famer versus should he be a Hall of Famer? Should he be a Hall of Famer? Hell no. Like, not even close. And I can say it as a guy who knows what it looks like to not be a Hall of Famer. Me, you know, you say you go in class, Marcellus Wiley, not a Hall of Famer. Here. You laughing too hard. Wiley Acho, not a Hall of Famer. Raise your hand. Say here, damn it. Both of us. It's a non-Hall of Fame show right here. Speak for yourself. Here's the thing. He should be right with us. Now, he's closer to the VIP. He's closer to the Hall of Fame booth than us.
I'm in the back.
Right.
I'm in the very back talking about, hey, Sal.
Yeah.
Can I jump the line with you?
Yeah.
You're looking at me like,
yeah. Huh? I'm looking at you because I'm in earshot of you, because I'm that close to you, because I can pass you the drink from the bar. Neither one of us is in that Hall of Fame booth over there. But the thing is, don't y'all dare start bringing that stuff over here to the bar. We waiting an hour for our drinks. The bartender's not looking at us. We get it. We're not Hall of Famers. Julian Edelman, you're not either. But should he be? Not by the numbers, man. The Hall of Fame is about individual accomplishment. You could be on the sorriest team ever, but if you are a dog, a Don Dada, and have the numbers to support it, then you should be a Hall of Famer. Julian Edelman was never a top receiver in the league.
Ever.
Now, he has top receiver numbers historically in the postseason, but I'm not going to even use the amount of times he went, as you said, the harvest, because Jerry Rice went 1,000 times too. That's why he has those numbers, and he was great. And Julian Edelman was damn good, and he got those numbers as well. But would you consider a Hall of Famer? That's when I got to start eating some crow. Say, maybe, because there's no elasticity anymore to what the Hall of Fame looks like. They have loosened the standards. They have made you and I start to sit there and whisper, hey, man, you think we get in the Hall of Fame? Like, in 20 years, maybe me. In 50 years, maybe you. Like, somehow, some way, we're going to creep our way over there because Edelman is getting there by looser standards. Steve Smith Sr., my dog, is saying, hell yeah, because he's like, I'm right. And then James Jones, my dog, is like, hell no. You know what? James Jones, no, he ain't got a chance. Yeah. Steve Smith Sr., like, oh, I got a chance, so let's loosen these standards. Interesting how this is all playing out. Got to bring in our own non-NFL Hall of Famer, wide receiver, Fox NFL analyst, Greg Jennings, but he is a Super Bowl champion. So, Greg, is it crazy to say Edelman is a Hall of Famer?
It is not crazy. However, man, I agree with you, Marcellus. Like, the only reason why it's not crazy is because of the standards and what we really view. We view the body of work. And unfortunately, for so many of us, our body of work exists in the regular season. His body of work exists in the postseason. So you can match his body of work in the postseason. And when you start to look at his stats and you see he's second behind only Jerry Rice, that pumps you up full of air. That gives you a little bit more status. But when you do what Acho is talking about, when you flip that thing upside down and you just look at his numbers in the regular season, and you do a blind assessment, and you show somebody his numbers, you're like, is this a Hall of Famer? Every single one, 100 out of 100 people are going to say, absolutely not.
Yeah.
You line them up next to Hines Ward, next to Wes Welker, next to so many other guys who aren't in, you're like, absolutely not. I can line them up next to me.
Please do.
It's coming.
Please
Greg
Look, and I'm going to tell you, like, it's hard for me to say that because I'm not one to toot my own horn.
But
Edelman has had a phenomenal career. But let's be honest, Acho, Marcellus.
Let me take it from here, G.
Hold on.
Because
I don't want to hear you and he here.
Because Greg Jennings got 64 touchdowns in his career. How many Edelman have? 36. By my math, Greg Jennings got just about double. Because Greg Jennings got 8,300 receiving yards in his career. How many Edelman have? 6,800. Somebody got to make that make sense. Greg Jennings got 2 Pro Bowls in his career. How many Edelman have? None. So
I even got one, damn it.
Greg got a Super Bowl. Edelman got a couple Super Bowls. If Edelman in the Hall of Fame, if he is, then all of a sudden, somebody got to have a conversation about my dog, Greg Jennings. I'll be the one to have that conversation. But if Greg got several more touchdowns, more receiving yards, Greg got a Super Bowl, Edelman has a couple more Super Bowls. Greg has a couple more Pro Bowls. If Edelman in the Hall of Fame, then everybody got to start sitting here and looking like, wait a second now. Because if I'm Greg, that's why I got to speak for you, Greg. I ain't want you to be called cocky and egotistical.
Why not? Why not?
I'm going to do it for you.
He is cocky.
My dog Greg got double the touchdown sale. My dog Greg got 1,500 more yards. What are we talking about? If Edelman in the Hall, then you got to start thinking about, well, should Greg Jennings be in the Hall? That's all I'm going to say. Sorry.
Damn, he served that up on a platter. Keep going, Greg.
I mean, you did, and I appreciate it. But here's what I would say in defense of Edelman. When you look at the Patriot in defense, and this is why I say someone can argue it. If you look at the Patriots and their success, can you tell the story of the New England Patriots and their success and eliminate what Julian Edelman has done? You can't.
It's a good point.
You can't. And so when you tell that story, you're going to bring up his catches. You're going to bring up the fact that he has a Super Bowl MVP. And he particularly in that Super Bowl won that game for them and was their offense. And so he was such an integral and valuable part of what they did offensively. However, even being that, he was never the guy. It was always someone else, Gronkowski specifically. And so when you look at that, it's hard for somebody who played that position and who knows what a Hall of Famer look like and can look in this lens and tell you, I don't meet that requirement. So how in the world am I going to say he does? Like, I get it. I'm all about the support of my fellow guys and their fraternity of wide receiver. But man, by the standards of what we all live by, that ain't cutting it, boss.
But here's my thing, G. I can't overly credit somebody for being in the right place at the right time. We've all seen those movies where somebody puts coins into a casino slot machine.
Okay.
Then somebody comes by the slot machine and pulls the lever, and all of a sudden they win the mega prize. Julian Edelman went to the slot machine, G, because before there was Edelman, there was a Wes Welker. There was also a Chris Hogan. There was always somebody in the slot who was going ball. Now, we can either say Edelman is phenomenal, Hogan was phenomenal when he was there doing things for a bit. Welker was phenomenal when he was there doing things for a bit. Or we can all be like, man, you know what? Tom Brady be making them dudes. We do this on the reverse. We say all these first-round quarterbacks are sorry, when in fact, are they really sorry or do they go to sorry organizations? So in the same breath, shouldn't we be able to have the mental resilience and say, Are all these dudes that great? Or was Tom Brady making them that great? So I'm just not going to say that he should be a Hall of Famer because he happened to be in the right place at the right time.
Damn. Greg had 2 Super Bowl touchdowns. Edelman only 1. So look, we can keep going like that, but it's on me to push back. I got to give him some credit, though. Why is this a conversation? Why are we so animated? Why are we sitting here declaring that he is, but he may not should be in that conversation? Because he's went to 3 Super Bowls, won those 3 Super Bowls. 2 of those 3 Super Bowls, you would say that without Edelman, I don't know if they win them, including that fingertip catch. Being real about that, okay? So then if you don't have that, do you even say Tom Brady's the GOAT? And if you don't have that, do you say that the Patriots are the dynasty? If you don't have that, you're not telling the story of football in reality. However, it's not about talking about Greg Jennings and pumping him up. And we know Greg Jennings is a better receiver than Julian Edelman. Let's stop. Let's talk about guys who are in the Hall of Fame that Julian Edelman may be a little better than. Now, this is a different era, and this is a top receiver of his time, but Lynn Swann, I love and respect me some Lynn Swann. But you know who had more catches than Lynn Swann? Julian Edelman, almost double. Want to have more receiving yards than Lynn Swann? Julian Edelman. Uh-oh. Now, I said that already. But hold on.
No, I can't let you do this. I cannot let you do this,
You know why you can let me do this? Because if any group wants to say you're a part of this club or not, the first question you should ask yourself is, am I better than the worst one in there? And if I'm better than the worst one already in that exclusive club, hey, bro, you better make some room or kick one of them out, and we know they're not kicking one of them out. And I'm not done with the categories he's better than Swann in, so that's my point.
Better is relative, and you know it. Because right now, the limited monetary amount that I have would probably make me one of the richest men in America back in the 1900s. With my limited amount of money that I have, I'd probably be one of the richest. But times have changed. So now where do I fall as far as wealth in America? In the same breath, Lynn Swann back then, his stats will pale in comparison to Julian Edelman because the currency has changed as far as passing the football. Don't come out here lying to these people, Marcel.
Well, the currency ain't changed. It's the inflation that has changed what the currency is value. I get what you're saying, but the point of it is, it's more to it. And I know it's a different era, and I know Lynn Swann was a better receiver of his era than Julian Edelman is. But if I'm Julian Edelman, who was at the bar with us, he said, man, I'm going to leave Acho alone, leave Marcellus alone, walking past, going to the VIP Hall of Fame, see Greg Jennings, what's up, dog? I'm going to pass you up, too, because you ain't getting in. And then Julian Edelman gets to the rope. I'm not going to be tripping if somebody lets him in. Because the way this world is turning right now, I think he may be a Hall of Famer. Coming up, Kyrie Irving was ejected Saturday and is taken off again for personal reasons. We'll tell you if the Nets should be concerned with his commitment. Next on Speak for Yourself. Edelman, pass me a drink. You know he in there. Watch it Speak for Yourself. Marcellus Wiley, Emmanuel Acho still got his clothes on, so the Sugar House didn't fleece you. Let's head to the NBA with Kyrie Irving. Was ejected during Saturday's loss to the Lakers in the third quarter when the Nets were only down by 4 points. Now, Kyrie was set to miss Monday against the Timberwolves for personal reasons before the game was postponed. Kyrie has already missed 15 games this season, with several for personal reasons. Got to bring in Fox NBA analyst Slick Rick the Bucher. Acho, should the Nets be concerned with Kyrie's commitment?
Absolutely. So we talked about this in the A block, and Kyrie's going to make me turn my thoughts on their head once again because Kyrie actually might prioritize sports in its proper place. Like, I don't know if basketball is the most important thing to Kyrie Irving. It's only problematic when basketball is the most important thing to all of your peers. And when all of your peers are prioritizing basketball as the most important thing in their life, and then Kyrie is like, by action, rather, I can take or leave it, then heck yeah, I'm concerned about his commitment because I'm concerned about his wisdom in the moment. Kyrie gets ejected, remember, because he gets into a scuffle because a black player calls him the N-word. But then maybe it is coincidence, maybe not. All of a sudden, Kyrie Irving, he needs a moment, personal reasons, personal issues. As I look at it, he's missed 10 games already in this season, a shortened season, because of different personal or familial or whatever the case may be, types of issues. Here is why I am concerned, and I'm going to personalize this for a moment. I don't really take days off on this show. Marcellus Wiley can co-sign. Emmanuel Acho doesn't take a lot of personal days on this show.
He's here.
Now, it's not like I don't take a lot of personal days because I'm the hardest worker in the world, although I try to work hard. I don't take a lot of personal days because sooner or later, I'm going to actually need a day. Like something will happen in my life where I'm going to need a day off. So I don't choose to take a lot of days off because something gonna happen where I'm gonna need a lot of days off. And if I choose to take a lot of days off, then I end up needing a lot of days off. I'm going to end up missing more days than I work. Kyrie Irving has missed more games than he has played with the Nets because he has chosen to take a lot of days off. But his body is like, hey, big dog, you need to take some days off. Y'all remember the shoulder injury? His body has said, hey, big dog, we need you to take time off. So the problem is, when you willingly take some days off, or whatever the case may be, eventually you're going to have to mandatorily take some days off. And Kyrie, as I look at it, I'm worried about the commitment because you've missed 67 games and you've only played in 58 games out of 125 since you've been a part of this Nets organization. That is problematic.
No question they should be concerned. And Acho, you bring up one of the main reasons why, which is the fact that it's not just that he's missed games or that he has had to take personal days, but we don't always know why he's taking those personal days. We don't know what is causing him to miss time. If it's an injury, then it's direct, and that's unfortunate, but at least you know. Uncertainty is the one thing that sets teams, imbalances teams, if you will. What's the number one thing that every team in every sport, and I dare say in every business, they try to avoid? Distractions. When you have questions about somebody, that is a distraction. And let's be honest, this is not new behavior for Kyrie Irving. Do we ever find out exactly what happened in Cleveland? Why he left Cleveland? Why it wasn't working for him in Cleveland? Do we know ultimately why it didn't work out in Boston? If you go through the litany, Cleveland, Boston, the bubble, Steve Nash being named as coach, like there's always something that's coming up. And I've been told not only are the Nets concerned, but they were concerned so much that they went out and they got James Harden. If you recall, when Kyrie took his first personal leave of absence, it was January 8th to the 17th. He missed a stretch of 7 games. In the middle of that stretch is when they made the James Harden trade. And they not only made the trade, they basically gave away the farm to do it. 3 first-round unprotected picks, Karis LeVert, and 4 more first-round picks that Houston has the option to swap with Brooklyn. That is a desperate measure, and it says to me that they were feeling in a desperate way about whether they were going to have Kyrie or how much they were going to have Kyrie going forward and needed to have somebody else to pair with Kevin Durant.
Man, I disagree with y'all right here. No, the Brooklyn Nets shouldn't be concerned with Kyrie Irving's commitment. I'm going to have a different conversation than you two. I'm going to talk about commitment versus capacity. Let's talk about that. You want to know why? Because capacity is what I learned from my sports history, which is all players are not treated equally, nor are all players asked the same things. You guys sound like you're coming from a premise of equality. One, equality has never existed, never will exist, and shouldn't be an aspiration in life or in sports. Y'all are tripping. Bill Parcells had that famous quote when he talked about, I don't treat all my players equally. You know why? Because they all don't play the same. So what the hell I'm going to treat them the same for? Let's talk about great players versus sorry players, because it sounds like y'all think Kyrie is just normal. Y'all act like Kyrie is sorry. I'm going to say it like this. I don't want somebody who's always there in their commitment, but they ain't doing shh. You know why? Because I've been there before. I need somebody who moves the needle. I need somebody who's not the red dot in film study. Acho know what that is. That's the guy who can't get right. You can't even see his jersey number because it's red dot. Coach always showing them can't get right. When Kyrie is there, ain't much better than Kyrie being there. Let's talk about this. When a coach says, hey, when a sorry player on my team falls asleep, I'm cutting him. But when a great player falls asleep, somebody wake him up, please. Anybody? And that's what Kyrie Irving is. When he shows up for this team, I remind you, this is a winning team by a greater margin than when he's not there. 9-6 without Kyrie. 27-11 with Kyrie. Kyrie is averaging a career-high 27.6 points a game, shooting a career-high 5-1-4 from the field this season. Y'all over here talking about like Kyrie is just a normal dude that needs to come on a normal schedule and abide by the normal rules. Maybe that's how y'all play the game. Maybe that's how y'all were treated. But Kyrie understands when it matters most, I'll be there, and not many will be better than me in those moments.
Here's the problem, though, Sal.
Ain't no problem.
You asking the Nets to do something you wouldn't dare fix your lips or live a lifestyle to do.
What's that?
You asking the Nets to tolerate, okay,
What's that?
I know it's great when you show up, so you can just show up whenever you want. And what kind of committed relationship, inside sports or outside sports, is that tolerable? Is that acceptable? Is that even worthwhile? Like, no, I don't need you to show up all the time. Just make sure when you're there, you're great. No.
I got an answer.
Because what I need to make sure of is that you are accountable, and more importantly, that you are available, or that you are available, and when you are available, you are accountable. But I do not want your accountability without your availability, and Lord knows I do not want your availability without your accountability. Can I get both, please? What you're telling me is Kyrie is accountable, but he might not be available. Or Kyrie might be available. Well, that's all you're telling me. You're not telling me he's available but not accountable. I need both. Any sort of elite athlete who maintains their elite level is always available and accountable at the same time.
Celis, look, I agree with you. There are different standards for different talents. There's no question about that. But if we're talking about a team that is attempting to win a championship, the heart of it is that your nucleus, you have to be able to count on them. Championship teams, your best players are your hardest workers. They are your leaders, ultimately. If you don't know where a guy is, how can he possibly lead you? We've seen more teams that were talented enough to get there that were undermined by it. But this is the biggest issue with Kyrie Irving and his inconsistency and the uncertainty about his availability, is the fact that these are outside external circumstances that seem to be influencing him. Whether an opponent calls him a certain word, whether there is social unrest in Minnesota or any place else. And I'm not suggesting that a player just shut up and dribble. I appreciate that he would have concerns about those things. But the fact of the matter is, we still all have to show up for our jobs, or at least we're going to be responsible for our jobs. And if my company is counting on me to show up for my job, then I ultimately may have to make a choice between, am I going to demonstrate my social justice concerns in every shape, way, and form and put aside my career, or am I going to try to blend and wed the two? Kyrie Irving seems to be struggling in being able to do that. And if the Nets have a concern over that, I certainly understand it.
Yeah, but I don't know if they have a concern over that. We don't know why Kyrie is always taking this time off for personal reasons. We have conjecture about it. But who's to say
that doesn't trouble you?
No, because I'm not nosy. I don't know if the Brooklyn Nets don't know. And how about this? They know, and they ain't going to tell us because they don't want to create more of what you said, a distraction. So let's us chill, 1, 2, 3, with our nosy asses
more
up here.
You said more of, right? You said more of.
More of?
You did.
You said more of. So you're conceding that Kyrie Irving is a distraction.
No.
And they just don't want to make it more of a distraction by telling us why he's missing time.
Yeah, we about to have an Ivy League argument over here. Acho, get out. All right, let's talk. Now, here's the real. Let me finish this point because I think y'all forget I was a star player for about 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. And I learned something as a star player from my climb from benches, being a small school player that nobody believed in, second rounder from an Ivy League school. Yes, damn right. I'm going to do Greg Jennings up here. I'm going to talk about me. Here's the thing, though. There are rules on a team, right? And you think that's what it is until you elevate, until you ascend. Then you realize, there's some vet rules, too. And then there's the heavens star rules. I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to call out my guy, my mentor, my man, Bruce Smith. I remember one day we had a full padded practice in training camp. And Acho, you know, when it's full pads in training camp, we got to go. Everybody all in. Not Bruce Smith. Bruce came out there, we full pad, armor on, looking like RoboCop, ready to go to battle, sir. You must comply. And here comes Bruce Smith. Hat to the back, sweats on, legs crossed, with a fan, somebody feeding him grapes. He just out there looking, pointing, dare, do that. Mental reps, as they call it. Beyond vet rules, star rules. How dare we now come up here and act like this doesn't occur on every single team all the time in different ways? This is Kyrie's way. Look, if a guy load manages like Kawhi, we're going to sit there to attack that for its version. But it's still time missed. Now we're looking at Kyrie, and we're like, we're going to attack you because of personal reasons. But it still adds up to the same games missed. I give it to you like this, Acho, because you tried to say something about me, and I caught that little sneak diss.
What'd I do?
Marcellus, you would never live this way. You would never let this be your way of life. Acho, what'd I do last week? Took a vacation. What I'm going to do in a couple more weeks? Take a vacation. You want to know why? I read my contract. In my contract, it says, as long as you show up and you got 4 weeks off, as long as you show up any other time, show up and show out. That's what I do. But Kyrie is under the same understanding. Acho, I told you, I don't know your agent, but let me read your deal. We can take some time off together and maybe have a little more fun. Coming up, Zach Wilson is being compared to Brett Favre. We'll tell you if we believe in the young quarterback. That's next. Don't speak for yourself. Yep, I'm gone in 2 weeks. 1 week.
Zach Wilson made a big impression during his pro day, and he's expected to go as high as number 2 in this coming NFL draft. That's to the Jets. Now, former NFL quarterback Mark Sanchez compared him to a Hall of Famer, calling Wilson Brett Favre. He added, quote, as soon as that ball is snapped, you might not know exactly where it's going, but there's a good chance it's going to the right spot. So, Sel, do you believe all the hype, and do you believe in this quarterback, Zach Wilson?
Who? No, just kidding. Let me not do this young man like this, but that's what we're going to be saying in a couple years if he's taken by the New York Jets. So, no, I don't believe in Zach Wilson because I don't think that this seed, Zach Wilson, could take root in the Jets' soil. No, they won't cultivate this relationship well and give him what he needs. Ask Sam Darnold. I'm going to tell you, no, forget Sam Darnold. Let's ask the last 10 quarterbacks in the last 15 drafts. 10 quarterbacks. Now we're going to say 11 quarterbacks in the next 16 drafts. All of those guys are going to be sitting there like, what are the Jets doing? I remind everyone, and Zach Wilson, I'm going to prepare you for this. The Jets had the second worst pass blocking offensive line last year. How are you going to do with that? Because last time I checked, when I saw you in your small sample size, even though you had a great 2020 season, what were the previous 2 seasons? I digress. You dealt with injuries to your shoulder and your hand. Okay, that's fine. But then you play behind an elite offensive line. Boy, I'm digging in the crates, looking at offensive line play at the collegiate level, but they had a high grade from his clean pocket versus no pressure. And then versus other opponents, not the same level. So what does all that mean? You had a better O-line there and you were getting banged up and hurt. You're about to go to the second worst O-line in terms of protection and think that the Jets are going to protect you? I don't see how it's going to happen. So it's no indictment on Zach Wilson. Hey, it's just a situation you're going to. Maybe you want to go somewhere else.
Yeah, we're almost really saying the same thing. Like, do I believe in Zach Wilson? Yes, absolutely. 40 passing touchdowns, 5 interceptions or less. Only player in college football this past season who did that.
Absolutely.
Had the second highest efficiency rating to Mac Jones. However, Zach Wilson didn't do it with the likes of Devontae Smith, the Heisman-winning wide receiver, and Jalen Waddle, one of the fastest wide receivers in the game for 4 of the games. So Zach Wilson is a dude. But the biggest issue, Sel, it comes down to surroundings. Now I'm torn because I didn't know where you were going to stand. And I didn't know where you were going to stand because you often say you have to be greater than your greatest excuse.
You got to be greater than your greatest excuse.
I don't believe in that, but you subscribe to that.
Damn right.
I don't think Zach Wilson can be greater than all his excuses because he has a whole bunch of excuses, and they are all great. Sam Darnold never played with no Pro Bowl players. No. It doesn't appear Zach Wilson's about to play with any Pro Bowl players. Jets didn't have no dudes at receiver like that. They acquired Corey Davis in the offseason, but Corey Davis ain't had a 1,000-yard season. They acquired Keelan Cole from the Jaguars, but he ain't had an 800-yard season. They acquired Tevin Coleman, a good running back, but he's never truly healthy. So is Zach Wilson a dude? Yes. But can he be a dude in the Jets without any help? I don't see it because I don't see him being able to be greater than all of the excuses that he'll have with the Jets.
Yeah, semantics aside, we're saying the same thing, but you got to be greater than that. That means you still got to get – that's why I'm so selfish, dog. I don't give a damn if people think I'm selfish because you're like, I'm selfless. I'm like, we still talking about self, right? Yes, we are because that's the common word. You got to get your numbers. Like, it's just funny to make a team When you first get on the football field at the NFL level, the first thought is, I got to make this team. Now, there's a few guys out there, high draft choices, guys who made money like, I ain't even thinking like that. Next thing you're thinking about is, I got to go get mine so we can get ours, right? So in this situation, when you know there's not a lot around you, Zach Wilson, the onus is on you to go get yours. Can you do that? Yeah, you can still put up numbers and still be on a sorry team. Ask Matt Ryan. Like, it happens. But the point is, I'm not so sure. You said absolutely you believe in Zach Wilson. I'm not so sure he possesses that level of talent to rise above the garbage around him. So, look, 20-11 is his collegiate career. 2-4 versus ranked opponents at the collegiate level. Whatever, who knows? He can transition to the pro level and be a lot different. But what's waiting for him at the pro level looks like the 23rd ranked rushing attack, the receivers and tight ends of the Jets, third fewest receptions and yards, 5 straight losing seasons, 10 straight losing seasons in terms of without a playoff appearance. It's nothing there for him. So now it's going to be on you, Zach Wilson, to do more than that. Can he do it? Acho thinks so, not I. Coming up, the Cowboys have a lot riding on Dak Prescott this season, but we'll tell you if Dallas should fear the Giants. That's next. Don't speak for yourself. Oh, you ain't want no more of them ribs? Let's head to the NFC East. NFL.com says it's fair to wonder if the Cowboys could have won the division last year with a healthy Dak Prescott, and they're expected to have their quarterback back in the huddle this season. While over in New York, they say Joe Judge led, quote, a scrappy bunch to the playoff contention. And this year, Daniel Jones has a new offensive weapon in Kenny Galladay. Greg is back. But Acho, should the Cowboys fear Daniel Jones' Giants in the NFC East?
They should, big dog, because they're the polar opposite of the Cowboys. When you think about the Cowboys, you think about flash. You think about names. Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, C.D. Lamb, Jalen Smith. You think about the glitz, the glamour, new stadiums. You think about the cheerleaders. You think about all that. But the Giants, you don't think about all that now. The Giants are just a tough, blue-collar, hard-nosed name with maybe one superstar in Saquon, but he didn't play all last year, so we still need to be reminded of his superstardom. The Giants are just a gritty, tough team. And the problem is, when the flash and dash meets the grit can often prevail. The Giants were better than the Cowboys last year. Bear in mind, Daniel Jones played last year, but he played terribly. He literally couldn't get worse. 30th in passer rating, 31st in completion percentage. So no, Dak Prescott didn't play. But if the Giants were already better than the Cowboys last year, and the Giants quarterback can literally only get better because he quite literally cannot get worse, then yeah, something for the Cowboys to worry about. Giants are a team that plays tough, knows how to play, and they're learning how to win. If they figure that out this year, that spells trouble once again for the Cowboys.
I disagree. Not totally, but for me, man, I was taught to respect all, fear none. I fear no one. And the Cowboys are not going to fear the Giants. Look, you just said it. Daniel Jones was terrible last year. The Cowboys had a worse record, but they didn't have their quarterback. Now they have their quarterback back under center. He's going to lead this team, and he's not fearing the Giants. He will respect his opponent, but the Cowboys feel like they have a better team. Now, the Giants, in my opinion, have made some outstanding moves. They have definitely improved. They're going to be better offensively. And Daniel Jones, to your point, Acho, I believe he has to get better because you get Saquon Barkley back. You add a Kenny Galladay, Nate Solder coming back off of the opt-out season. And so you got pieces that are going to make him more comfortable, which ultimately you would think he should be a better quarterback. But the Cowboys are the Cowboys. They believe in all the hype. Just like we always talk about all the hype, they believe that they are a team that have great personnel that just wasn't clicking, that just didn't have all the pieces on the football field together to pursue what they desire, which is championship type of play. They have that this year. If they can stay healthy, this could be a really good team, and they should not fear the Giants, but they will respect the Giants.
Yep, Greg, you convinced me. I was on the fence. I ain't gonna lie. I walked into this room. My prep says yes/no. Now I'm like, hell no. I ain't scared of these dudes. Scared of what? The New York Football Giants? The same team that haven't won the division since 2011? Ooh.
Come on now.
Okay, the same team that hasn't won 10 games since 2016. I remind you of the records of the New York Football Giants since then. 3-13, yuck. 5-11, yup. 4-12, yup. 6-10, yuck. All that is not scaring me. And more importantly, Acho went out there and says a couple of the stats, but he forgot the most important stat, and we all played the game. What's the most important stat? Coach said, without even knowing the score, you tell me this stat, I can tell you how the game went. Turnovers. Ooh, Daniel Jones, why is your name next to the guy? Oh, you are the guy. Has the most giveaways among quarterbacks over the last 2 seasons. You, Daniel Jones. No. And you're going against these Dallas Cowboys who have their quarterback back and Dak bars. It's a problem. Dak wins this division. Dak destroys these teams in the NFC East. I remind you, since his rookie year, his record 16-3, including his rookie year, 19-6. That's called ownership over this division. He is back on the saddle, and yes, the Cowboys will win this division, not fearing the Giants.
So the most important stat is actually wins and losses. Don't sit here talking to me about turnovers.
I said other than.
It's wins and losses.
I said other than.
And that's something the Giants did just as well or poorly, depending on how you look at it as the Cowboys. But ranking-wise, they actually did better than the Cowboys. So if you're telling me that the Giants were a better team than the Cowboys last year. We know that.
Without Dak.
Sure, without Dak, which means which means the Cowboys are going to get better at quarterback. But the Giants have to get better at quarterback because I just told you their quarterback couldn't have gotten worse. So the Giants won 6 games in spite of Daniel Jones. So what we're trying to say is the Cowboys they were still 1-3 with that. Remember who had to bail out the Cowboys to beat the Giants? What was it, week 5 of the season? Andy Dalton, who's no longer there, because if I'm not mistaken, the Cowboys weren't beating the Giants when Dak Prescott got hurt. If I'm not mistaken, didn't Dak Prescott Marcellus turn the ball over, which led to a Giants 14-3 lead? If I'm not mistaken, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But last I checked, this quarterback, the savior, riding in on this white horse named Dak Prescott, who was already trailing to a Giants team, is now supposed to come in and make the Cowboys, who were worse than the Giants, better than the Giants? I don't know your logic. But I think you told me something yesterday. Isn't it like a logical fallacy? Yeah, I think you have several logical fallacies in your explanation.
Snipe. Get him, Greg, for me, please.
Okay, I am, because you're talking about Dak Prescott as if him being back, he doesn't elevate everyone else around you. So I'm gonna point it to you. Acho, when you're not on this show, is this still a good show?
Yeah, probably not.
Yes, it's a good show. Is it the same show? Probably not, because you're missing. You add value. The same can be said with Marcellus. So let's not act like you don't make this show better and Dak Prescott doesn't make his team better and everyone around him. Now, Marcellus will probably argue that he can carry the show without you. Already. He's done it.
You know that's coming.
But you already know. But that's who Dak Prescott is. He's a guy that's going to make everyone around him better. So the play of what we saw, even with them without Dak Prescott, it's not going to be that. You make it seem like the Giants, with having Daniel Jones at quarterback, all they need to fix is just his play. No, his leadership, all of that plays a huge role in their success. Can he lead? Can he actually take on this alpha presence that Dak Prescott owns, that he lives and he thrives in that space? That's who he is. That's why this team will never fear the Giants.
Thank you. Giants, second worst scoring offense in total offense last season. With Daniel Jones, 29th and third down offense, 4th most sacks allowed. Oh, Daniel Jones going to fix all that. Oh, Saquon running in his front yard. As I saw that video, I'm looking forward to you, Saquon, coming back. That's going to fix it. But that's not the same as Dak Prescott coming back. He comes back to an offense that only averages 21 points a game. But with him, 32 points a game. Big difference. I already talked enough about Dak Prescott. Let's talk about how my man Acho is coming up here just minimizing the impact of Dak Prescott coming back. It's the same impact of beating a Jamaican relay team without Usain Bolt. And then all of a sudden Usain Bolt come back. Now I want to hear that talk. Where those wolf tickets now, homeboy? Where that energy at now, partner? You ain't going to say the same thing when Usain up there high kneeing your ass all the way through the finish line. Now, Greg Jennings, stop laughing, dog, because you took a shot at your boy. One, Acho's never missed. So we don't know how good this show is without man. Oh, yes, we do. Ooh, this show ain't the same without me. I'm the one that's always on vacation. Is that true, Acho? The show goes down here without me. Is that right, Acho?
Go to commercial.
Yeah, Greg, you better watch yourself. I'm Usain Bolt up in here. Coming up, the Browns and Ravens both made the playoffs last season. He has not missed yet, but we'll tell you who should be the AFC North favorites. Next, don't speak for yourself. Now, if you flip that, Greg, maybe.
Jadeveon Clowney will make his second visit with the Browns Wednesday, and reports expect him to walk out with a new deal. Now, Clowney would be joining an AFC North division that had 3 teams in the playoffs last season. The Ravens are favored with over 11 wins, according to Fox Bet Sportsbook. They're followed by the Browns, Steelers, lastly, the Bengals. So, Marcellus, who should win this AFC North?
The favorites, the Ravens. The Ravens. Yes, the best rushing offense last 2 seasons in the NFL. The Ravens. Unanimous MVP. Only 2 of those guys walking around this planet, and one of them is on the Ravens. Lamar Jackson leading this team. So it's simple for me. When you look at the AFC North, are you going to bet on the Cleveland Browns and their ascension? Sounds good, right? Except there's still question marks in terms of Baker Mayfield's consistency, right? Pittsburgh Steelers come to mind. Thinking about the Pittsburgh Steelers, that fast start, 11-0. But they faltered down the stretch run, being real. And then Ben Roethlisberger waffling back and forth, finally committing again. I'm tired of hearing a guy that old talking about, yeah, I'm going to get in shape. This time I'm committed. Like, what the hell, Ben? You're amazing to me, but damn, dog, that's not it. I can't bet on that. And there's another team in that division, but they're too low. The Bengals down there. Point being, not yet. A little too early for them. So it's the Baltimore Ravens, man. They're primed for this moment. We're hoping the evolution of their passing game. I'm not betting too much on Sammy Watkins because of his lack of availability, but still he's going to contribute to this team, evolving their pass offense. The pass offense could catch up to this run offense with the defense they possess. It's the favorites. It's the Ravens.
It's funny. I'm just now actually reading this question in the manner in which it's asked, not the way I wanted to interpret it. Who should be the favorite is the Browns.
Well, first of all, you can't read. It says which
team should be the favorite. It's the Browns.
All right.
Now, who might win, I can give you that. I can give you the Ravens. But who should be the favorite? Which team should be the favorite? It's the Browns. And why do we know this? It appears the Ravens are they're hitting their head on the ceiling. Like, ow, ow. Like, it's kind of like
that?
They know how good they can be, how good they have been. And we all know, and I'm afraid that they may have already peaked this version of the Ravens.
Oh.
Why do I think so? Lamar Jackson is a dude, a miracle worker on a football field. He had an MVP season, a unanimous MVP season where he had 36 passing touchdowns and he still rushed for 1,000 yards. Where do they do that at? I do not know.
Beast.
But you do that and y'all still only win, no playoff games that year? Okay, so Lamar Jackson, we've seen you be better than everybody and they mama. Like, we've seen you be better than everybody, Sel. And that's all y'all had to show for it? Was even the next year just one playoff win? Meanwhile, you're exactly right. Baker Mayfield, is he all that good? Because what we've seen from Baker is you really haven't scratched the surface, potentially, of your potential. There's a chance, Baker Mayfield, you can get a lot better. Because you haven't had now one season as good as Lamar's. You've had an okay season your rookie year, okay by rookie year standards, then a terrible season your sophomore year. Then this past year, Baker, you played well. 26 touchdowns regular season, only 8 interceptions. You played well. But, Sel, what happens if Baker, by chance, lives up to that #1 overall pick talent? What happens if Baker, by chance, lives up to that Heisman-winning talent like Lamar Jackson did his second season in the league? What happens then? Because the Browns won 11 games with Baker being average in your eyes, with Baker being maybe above average if you're having a good day, Marcellus. So if the Browns are still that good, just one game behind the Ravens, with Baker just being okay, what happens if Baker's excellent for a season? And I see this coming season being that season because him and Stefanski, second year together, could make magic.
My eyes, I told you before, bro, I got that LASIK 25 eagle eyes. I can see it all, and all I'm looking at is performance. I'm not like you over here imagining closing your eyes. Oh, this is the year for Baker Mayfield. What if he lives up to that talent? What talent? #1 overall talent. That wavers. That's a roller coaster of the #1 overall talent to the point where most evaluators said He's not the number 1 overall pick in terms of talent, but he was the number 1 overall pick. You talk about living up to that Heisman Trophy winning billing. You know how many sorry Heisman Trophy winners we've seen in the NFL? There's no living up to that. Depends on how you perform. Eyes open. Then you give me the standard of, well, Lamar Jackson may have peaked. The Ravens may have peaked. What if Baker lives up to what Lamar's done since he hasn't peaked? When is the last time you ever lived up to somebody else just because you're around them, because you got drafted the same year, because you're in proximity? Who's the best Texas linebacker that came out?
Derrick Johnson.
Derrick Johnson, right? They ain't make you better because he went to Texas. Nobody, how's that going to make Acho better? That's Derrick Johnson's world to live in. Boy, stop. Browns, 9-8-1 versus AFC North over the last 2 seasons. Browns have not won that division since 1989, the number. Public Enemy, another summer. Get down. Stay down the Browns. Browns. Sorry, Browns. I root for them, but I'm not about to project for them. They got to go out there and earn it. They eat what they kill. I remind you, the Ravens, 9-3 AFC North over the last 2 seasons. Lamar, 8-2 against all these teams in his division the last 2 seasons. Acho, please, I'm listening.
It's very simple, Sal. We know the Ravens and how good they are, how good they're going to be. What did they change this offseason? They acquired Sammy Watkins. That is not a difference maker as far as making the Ravens over the hill. First off, the Ravens are already near the top of the hill. The difference is who's coming. Right? Like, the Ravens is already out ahead. I'm not saying the Ravens aren't out ahead. They're out ahead. I think, though, this time around, to talk track and field, the Browns about to make up that stagger. The Ravens have been far ahead of the Browns for years, been far ahead of these dogs, but all of a sudden, the Ravens are hearing footsteps. Because what did the Browns do this offseason?
What'd they do?
They acquired Troy Hill. What did the Browns do this offseason? They actually have made some acquisitions that will make a difference.
Smart moves.
They're also getting back some dudes that were hurt. And so when I look at it, I'm like, man, the Ravens didn't do anything to make me say, yeah, they're going to be a better team this year.
Do you have to?
Yes, if somebody's on your tail.
Who's on their tail?
The Browns, big dog. They
won the same amount of games last year.
Yes, but
they ain't on the tail. They right next to them.
But the difference is who's coming back with their second year as a head coach. Browns, Harbaugh, Jackson, they've been
sophomore
together for 4
slump, anyone?
years now.
I don't know.
Not so.
It happened to the quarterback. Could it happen to the coach?
What happened with Lamar Jackson this second year with Jim Harbaugh?
Oh, well, that wasn't his really second year. It really wasn't his second year. It was his year and a half. Don't start this. Oh, I'm mad at you right now. Coming up, Trey Lance is getting a lot of hype heading towards the draft. We'll tell you if the Niners should consider him with the number 3 pick. That's next. Don't speak for yourself. Acho, open your eyes. The 49ers have the 3rd pick in the draft, and reports say they're picking a quarterback. But which one? The Niners are expected to be at Trey Lance's 2nd pro day, and they'll be very familiar with what they're watching. Reports say Trey Lance will incorporate a number of the Niners' own drills, which will resemble a private workout. Ooh, a little love there, Acho. So should the 49ers consider Trey Lance with the number 3 pick?
No, sir. It's too soon. Like, Trey Lance is a project. And there's nothing wrong with being a project, but the problem is, again, if you get drafted at the number 3 position and you're the San Francisco 49ers, whoever you draft in to replace Jimmy G better be better than Jimmy G.
Yes.
And I don't want him to be better than Jimmy G in, 4 or 5 years, give him time to develop, by the time he's on his 2nd contract. No. If you are drafting a man to replace Jimmy G and you think you are Super Bowl ready, then this quarterback you drafted better bring out a Super Bowl or in Super Bowl contention within a year or 2. And I just don't see that from Trey Lance. I think he will be good, but I think he needs some time. Let him cook a little bit longer. Y'all remember, he only played 17 games in college. And I'm not talking like a Mac Jones 17 games at the University of Alabama. I'm not talking like a Justin Fields 24 games between Ohio State and Georgia. I'm talking about 17 games at a lower level program. So, I'm not sold on Trey Lance. And remember, he played his redshirt freshman season. Then this season was a COVID season. He only had 1 game where he had more than 23 pass attempts. In the NFL, it's going to be a whole lot different. Is Trey Lance potentially a future baller? Yes, but why in the world would you take Trey Lance when, to me, at this junction, he's a poor man's Justin Fields? Can Trey Lance run? Absolutely. Did we just see Justin Fields run a 4.4? Yes, we did. Does Trey Lance have a big arm and a high ceiling? No doubt about it. Does Justin Fields have a big arm and a high ceiling? Yes, and we've already seen it. So to take Trey Lance with the number 3 overall pick would be kind of senseless to me.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. Just because you have Jimmy G there. Damn, this is crazy. Jimmy G is the answer when healthy. Now, everyone says you can't guarantee his health. I'm going to just remind people, you can't guarantee Trey Lance's health if you draft him at that position either. You can't guarantee anyone's health. You can look at a resume and start making projections. I understand. And it may be a calculated measure to try and get an insurance policy. But at number 3, for a team that when their quarterback is healthy, can go out there and make the Super Bowl, I would look elsewhere in terms of what positions we should address, to your point. But this is my point. This is a cover move, and I've been talking about this. This is no shots at you, Kyle Shanahan, just shots at your resume. Everyone thinks since he's a quarterback whisperer, whoever he gets next at quarterback, he's going to make them the guy that he can run his system through and finally get over the hump, which is, I guess, winning a Super Bowl, because Jimmy G already took you to a Super Bowl, or consistent play because of his availability. I don't agree with that. I look at Kyle Shanahan and I remember that the 49ers have finished 20th or worse in scoring offense in 3 of his 4 seasons. I look at his record with any other quarterback. If you're a quarterback whisperer, make it happen. 7-27. Everyone starts to say, but look who he's working with. I didn't think that would be an answer or a proper response if you're a quarterback whisperer. So it looks like this is a little bit of blame game. Like, look, here's our cover. Insurance policy for you, Jimmy G, but an insurance policy doesn't cost this much. It's not number 3 overall. But if you're going to go there, then this is a make or break decision by Kyle Shanahan. Because if it doesn't work then, and you look at his record, 7-27 with every other quarterback outside of Jimmy G, then what's going to be your excuse then?
But Sal, even if you were quarterback whisperer, the quarterback got to be able to hear your whispers now, big dog.
And you trying to say they can't?
Here's what I'm saying.
Let's go.
Look at the backup quarterbacks who have outperformed their starting quarterbacks at times, or at least held steady. You got a quarterback in Nick Foles.
Yeah.
Outperformed Carson Wentz, or at least held steady. But even Nick Foles was a 3rd-round pick. Like, even Nick Foles had proved to have magic. So when I'm talking about Kyle Shanahan and his lack of production with backup quarterbacks, which means he should draft a quarterback, it just shouldn't be Trey Lance, he's whispering, but, like, where is the necessary talent that you even saw? Again, I don't recall off the top of my head where C.J. Beathard was drafted. I think it was the 6th round. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, let's look that up. Like, if you're going to whisper, the person got to be able to hear Jimmy G when he took over for Tom Brady for 2 games before getting hurt. Even Jimmy G was a 2nd-round pick. When Jacoby Brissett took over after Jimmy G gets hurt and he plays another 2 games, even Jacoby Brissett was a 3rd or 4th-round pick. So if you gonna whisper, the quarterback's got to be able to hear. I respect the Niners for drafting a QB, assuming that they will. I just don't think it should be Trey Lance.
All I'm saying is that was a 2-14 team that the quarterback whisperer goes to. And whoever, they're rebuilding the roster. We understand that. You go 1-10. Jimmy G comes and saves the day. And all of a sudden now Jimmy G's the problem because of availability. But there's no guarantee of availability for whoever you draft. That's my issue. I don't mind drafting an insurance policy. I'm not going to say he's sorry, because the best quarterbacks have been going in the 3rd round and 6th round NFL history. Joe Montana, Tom Brady. Go lower, address this insurance policy. That's a high premium. Number 3, too high for my liking. Coming up, Steph Curry became the Warriors' all-time leading scorer last night. Tell you if he's also the NBA's biggest box office star. That's next on Speak for Yourself.
Steph Curry made history last night, passing Wilt Chamberlain to become the Warriors' all-time leading scorer. Shout out to you, Steph. Steph scored 53 points and hit 10, counted up, 10 3-pointers, and the Warriors win. So, Marcellus, is Steph Curry the biggest box office star in the NBA?
Oh, sound like you said LeBron James. Oh, you didn't? I did. No, it's LeBron James. Sorry, Steph Curry. I love you. The guy next door who's out there shooting threes, but now, sorry to tell you, everybody's shooting threes now. And more than that, the guy next door is only captivating for so long. LeBron James wins in all metrics in terms of followers, in terms of all-star votes. It's still LeBron James because he can do things that we can't do, and that's part of the reason we watch sports.
So I'm going to go with the opposite, Sal. I think Steph Curry is at least in the conversation because he can do things that we think we can do. As we gravitate towards people who we actually think we can be like, and Steph Curry, we look at him not that big, not that strong, not that aggressive. Oh, I can be like Steph.
Oh, is that why you came on the show? To be like me? Oh, that's why I work with you. Hella COVID, stop giving us these topics. That's it. Talk that live next. Oh, man.